Russell Wilson was in town last week, meet with the Browns. Mike Florio, Chris Sims, Pro Football Talk, on the type of player Russell Wilson is at this juncture of his career.
He's not the Russell Wilson of 5 years ago. He can't run away from pressure. He's got one club in the bag, and that's it right there.
That's it.
And it's beautiful when it
is.
works, but that's it. That's your Russell Wilson highlight package. Moonball left, moonball right.
That's exactly right,
Moonball
Mike.
left, moonball right. That's it.
I agree. It's a limited variety in how he can attack. And then, all right, so the play, as we know, yes, it's always been a little bit outside the numbers. We don't work the middle of the field. That was his MO even in Seattle. And we talked about that back in those days. There'd be areas where you'd go, damn, he only throws it outside. But he got away with it for so long for exactly what you said. It didn't matter. Wait, somebody opened deep? Oh, no. All right, I'll sit back here. I'm athletic. And now I'll either run or make a move or scramble and buy a little time and then throw a ball. And that was how Russell Wilson played. And because of his physical ability, he could get away with that for a long, long time. But now he's at a point in an age where you're exactly right. It's changed. He can't play that way anymore. So what do you have to do when you can't play that way anymore? You got to play a little bit more with your mind, your feel, your experience. You got to play within the pocket. You're not going to be able to run outside, make magic plays, do all of that. And Russell Wilson is still just lacking in that department.
Maybe. The not playing in the middle of the field, I think that's, when I think about it, I think he fits Kevin Stefanski's offense. You don't see Kevin Stefanski throwing the ball in the middle of the field. You see some rollouts. You see timing. I think he can play that way. And the one thing is, he didn't turn the ball over a ton. And I would argue Pittsburgh's offense, as far as playmakers go, it's similar to the Browns.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't think he's the same player that he was, 10 years ago, 8 years ago. I don't know if anybody would argue that he is. I flash back to when the Browns lost to Denver in 2023. And it was the last game DTR started before he got hurt, and then they went to Flacco. Russell Wilson made some plays scrambling in that game, and that was only, 15 months ago. So I think he can still move. It's not like he's only in the pocket. Now, I don't think he can run around and drop back 20 yards like he used to and then fire the deep ball. But can he run the play-action Stefanski scheme and get outside the tackle box and make a throw and hit somebody on a deep dig? I think he certainly can do that. The Browns would not have any interest in him if he couldn't. And I think the middle of the field stuff is because he's not the biggest guy in the world, right? And it's harder to see over those big bodies. And, maybe he's not throwing the seam route to David Njoku all day long. But they had those issues with Baker Mayfield, too. And you got to figure out a way to work around him. And I think Stefanski's system would enable Russell Wilson to do that, would get outside the pocket some and live out there. He's still got the big arm. I think he is really smart. It's interesting that, Chris Sims would say that he's never kind of made that transition to be just a, kind of one of those older guys that just figures out a way. But maybe it's not too late for that. Maybe he can still do that. So I definitely think he's worth exploring. I have no question about that at all. And I think he can still win games for you in this league. And, he won games last year with Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and he didn't turn the ball. The main thing I think you got to find is a guy that takes care of the football and doesn't put what I think will be a pretty good defense on the short field. That last 2 years, they've been putting the defense on short fields.